Welcome back. You are watching Web API tutorial and this is part 6 of this tutorial. Hi, I am Rahul, your host for today's session. I am an IT professional, blogger and a research scholar. In this video, you will learn using entity framework with Web API. So we will learn how to use entity framework in your Web API, and for that we will use database first approach. So before setting the context, let's do recap. In last videos we created MVC application and a Web API application. We consumed Web API into MVC. After that we implemented basic security using bearer authentication. We also tested Web API in Postman, and in last part we see how we can connect SQL to Web API. We created a table, we added few dummy records, and we connected SQL database through Web API, and we consumed data in MVC. In this video we will learn how to use entity framework with Web API. For that we will set up entity framework in your project, and then we will rewrite all the methods what we have created in last video. So we will rewrite all the methods and implement in Web API and test the flow using MVC application. So I think we are good to go here. So let's start. So this will be also a practical session. So in last videos we demonstrated classic SQL connection in API. So now in this video we will demonstrate using entity framework in Web API. For that let's create one more project that will be of class library. So just click on this and put next. Just name the library to, let's say, entity framework layer. So these are the basic steps. You can create any kind of project. Now we have demonstrated creating web application with default templates. We created an empty project for our Web API. Then we created class library. So this is one of those. Now here are my projects. So let's add new item. Now we'll see that there is no template for entity framework, so we have to add it, because you can see here there is no template for this. So now let's add manage NuGet package. So we'll install entity framework because this project has no entity framework, so we have to install it. So let's click on this and let's search entity framework here. Let's go to browse and let's write entity framework. Here you go. Here you can see the first option is entity framework by Microsoft. You have many options, but you have to select it. Now select the projects in which you want to install it. So I have selected entity framework and Web API. So you can see here that this will be version 6.4. You have other versions also, but I am taking latest one. So you can see here entity framework 6. So let's install it. it has some default steps that we have to follow. So just press OK. I accept. You have to accept it. Without it, you cannot install any software. You have no other option. So let's wait for some time. It is installing the packages. I think it is done. So let me see it now. Once you are done with your installation, you can see templates for your entity framework, and also you can see in web.config section entity framework here. Now just see. Okay, now you can see in data you have many options. We have AD.NET entity data model. We have EF 5.x, EF 6.x for DB context generator. So we will select option ADO.NET entity data model, and let's name the model as EF entity model. Okay, add. This is your model name. Okay, and as we are using database first approach, so just click here and select next. And after that, you need to add a connection for the SQL database. Now let's add new connection here. Okay, let's go with Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, continue. Let's continue. Okay, now let's add the server name. And after that, we are using window authentication. We select a database name, tested connection, and press OK. So these are basic steps. So you will find it here. So now you can see that your connection string is ready, and this will be saved in your app.config file in entity framework layer. So here you can see source, then your database name and all things. So let's press next. It is retrieving. So now we have only table. So let's just finish it. And here you can see that your model is prac_con model. So it has created a model as well. So we'll see these things in some time, like what it is and how it is associated with each other. So once you finish it, it will generate your EDMX file, and it has all the attributes from your database. Just let's press OK. Now this is security warning. You can just click on do not show this message again as well. Okay, now just wait for some time. Okay, so here you can see we have only one table for employee. So you can see your table and all the attributes inside your table. Just press yes to all. I have just opened this. Okay, now you can see the connection string and prac_con entity. Okay, so this has been auto generated by your entity framework. So it has its settings, EF entity model that we created so far. We have database, server, security, and all things. These all we have seen. Okay, because this is no username and password because we use Windows authentication. Okay, now let's go here, and you can see that your POCO class is ready, and it is listing all the details here. Here you can see the POCO class in right tab. So we have employee, and it has all the attributes. Okay, so now let's go to solution where it is. Okay, here. Okay, so here you can see we have few files, that is entity model, then we have your context, we have designer, so everything okay. Now let's rename this and let's say it as employee management. Let's employee manager. Just press yes, it will rename the class as well. And now we will create two methods to get all employee and employee basis on the ID. So I'm just creating two methods here, okay, and I will use entity framework. So let me write get all employees, okay. Now here I need to use entity framework context, so that should be I think, let me check, okay, let's change it here as well. Okay, why we did it, because we already have model layer and we are using employee class of model layer. We are not using POCO class, though you can use POCO class as well, but we'll use model layer here, okay. So let me write breakon entities, and inside it let me just create let me add a variable here, let's say list and employee, okay. So what basically we are doing here, we are using employee class from model, and we will just associate database POCO class with my model class, okay. So let me write things here, okay. Okay, now let's write employees, and I'll just copy paste here, okay, to save some time. So I have just written entity dot employee dot select, and then I just getting all the values. Same way, let me add for get employee by ID as well, okay. Okay, so I have created these two methods, okay, and now I'm just adding the reference of it. I did nothing special. If you see that I created two methods, but I have not explained it. I have only using entity framework default methods like where, select, all the things, and first or default. So I think you are familiar with this, and if you are not, then I will create one more tutorial for entity framework. How we use entity framework and how we write queries here, okay, LINQ queries. So just let's comment it, okay, and here I will use my employee manager, okay, and the method we created so far, this let me create constructors employee manager in this, okay. Now let's write employees is equal to manager dot get all employee. See how easy it was, okay. Using entity framework you can easily write your codes before so much hectic. So I think it is throwing some kind of error. Get all employee. Let me see. Okay, let me write dot to list. Or just let me change this. I'm not writing to list here, I'm just changing it to I in enumerable, because the return type was I enumerable, so that's why it was not able to cast it. So I just renamed it. You can also use to list, so that will also work. So same way I am doing here as well. So let's return and manager dot get employee by ID, and let's pass the ID here. Okay. Okay, just copy this connection string here. Okay, I'll copy this connection string in web API. Just copy and I'll just paste it here. Okay, so I just copied connection string from entity framework project into web API project as well. Okay, now let's start it. Let it build and let it show on the browser. Now in browser you can see, okay, yeah, now it has been loaded, and just click on this and you will see, oh, now it is throwing an error. So this error encountered because query is using convert.to int 3064. So this thing I wanted to tell you that your LINQ query they don't know this kind of methods. So it has no method with 2 int 64, so that's why it is throwing error. So to save this, let me just make it as enumerable. Okay, and after that we can use it. So what is as enumerable? So you can see that I will record another video for that. How as enumerable works fine, because initially it was throwing error, and what was the reason that it is not throwing an error. Okay, let me add it. Okay, so let's just click on it. Okay, now you can see all the records. Now let's see, get by this and let's continue, and here you go. So you can see all the records. Okay, so one thing I want to highlight that I have not explained, like why I use as enumerable or why I mentioned other things like what I did before. So I guess that I will cover in another video. In this video I am only demonstrating like how we can use entity framework, so that's why I have not covered all the things. Okay, in next video I will cover these things as well. So let me just clear the code. Okay, okay, let me delete it. I think we not need employee as well. Just remove this from here. So my code is more shorter now. Okay, let's I think let's remove this as well. Okay, and I think we are done. Let's remove it as well, and let's run the code again to see if everything is working fine. So I think everything is working fine. Okay, yes, it is. Let's click on employee. Yeah, record is coming. So I think we are done here, and we are done for today. So thanks. Hi, thank you for watching our video. Hope you like this. If you like it, so please like and share the video on your social network. And if you have not subscribed our channel, so please subscribe the channel as well. You will get more videos in coming days. You can also connect with us using a .NET Concept site. There you can find many articles and videos. And you can also connect with us on Facebook page and on Twitter handle. Thank you.